Welcome back to Let the Boys Watch, an entertainment podcast brought to you by Going Great Productions. I want to be close. My name is Robbie, and this week is Ryan Gosling week. Today we're going to talk about the 2011 drama. Yeah, please fan me off too. Drive, directed by Nicolas Winding Refn, starring Ryan Gosling, Carey Mulligan, Bryan Cranston, Albert Brooks, Oscar Isaac, Christina Hendricks, and Ron Perlman. Alongside me is the Cuz Benny. I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What do you do?
I drive.
And alongside us, somebody who's not the standard edition. He's always a deluxe edition in my eyes. Our good friend and co-host, Ryan. Ryan, how are you?
Wow. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't. That was so nice.
Well, you're welcome. It's because it is the season, as the kids are saying.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so Robbie said, this is Let the Boys Watch. And what we do on this show is watch movies that were, I would say, pretty popular over the last 3 or 4 decades. And one or all of us have not seen it for some reason. Every week on Fridays, we do a vote. We typically put up 3 or 4 movies. There might be a theme, there might not. And you guys vote on it. We watch it, and then we talk about it. What's better than that? You get you 2-for-1 entertainment. You get to watch the movie, and you get to listen to three morons talk about it for an hour and a half. Perfect.
If the movie didn't entertain you enough, listening to three idiots and realizing how much smarter you are than all of us will make you feel great.
And
Exactly. If you have insomnia and you have trouble sleeping, well, guess what? This podcast will put you right to bed.
that's right. And speaking of being smarter than us, please send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com, and let us know what we missed, where we went wrong, or if you agreed with us. Maybe even send us some suggestions for future weeks or movies that you want to see. Uh, I mean, unless it's absolutely god awful email, we're gonna read it on the show, get you a little shine. So why not send us one? Again, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. It's in the show notes. Can't make it any easier. And follow us on Let the Boys Watch Pod on Instagram, where all the cool memes and stories and such are. And if you're watching us on YouTube, press the bell wherever the fuck it is. Subscribe, leave us some comments, whatever. Engage. And like I said before, one or all of us have not watched this movie this week. I believe it's Benny.
Correct. I haven't seen this one.
Robbie, you've seen it before?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, me too. I only saw it once, like when it first came out, so I forgot a lot of it. I remembered like 2 scenes, so it's kind of like watching a new movie. Benny, because you haven't seen it, did you even have any ideas about it, preconceived notions? Like, did you want to see it when it first came out? What do you got?
I don't think I wanted to see it when it came out because I was definitely too cool for Gosling. Like, oh, he's just the pretty boy and all that kind of stuff.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
I was definitely one of those people that like hated DiCaprio, hated like whoever the girls loved, I hated because I just had so much jealousy on the inside and couldn't appreciate a good-looking man.
There.
I have a feeling that I thought that this was going to be what Baby Driver actually is, and it's
Mhm.
about like a getaway driver for the whole entire movie.
Right.
Um, other than that, no preconceived notions. I love going into movies blind, not knowing anything. I mean, I almost get annoyed by the opening credits, and you start seeing some of the names pop up. And I was like, I wish I would have got surprised by Cranston or Albert Brooks and stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like was there another some type of movie, or I think I get this confused with Gone Girl with Ben Affleck. I think they kind of came out around the same time.
Maybe.
Um, but yeah, no preconceived notions. As a reformed Gosling lover, I was excited to watch this one.
Yeah. Maybe you're thinking of Place Beyond the Pines because it's also about like a stuntman and it's got
Could be.
that
I
handsome
actually, to
Gosling
be
in
honest
it.
with you, I never heard of that movie until we put it up on the poll.
All right. Well, then fuck me, right? Um. All right. Well, Robbie, let's start with you. What did you think overall about this film? I know you saw it once. I don't know if it was a while ago or pretty recent. But what are your overall impressions? And then we'll get into plum scores.
I saw it once, saw it a long time ago on the recommendation from my Bill, friend of the pod, Brian last name redacted. He was pressing me for years to watch this movie, and for years, like I always do, I ignore him. Didn't really didn't really want to see it. I guess the same thing with Benny. I just thought Gosling wasn't it. Uh man, was I ever wrong? Probably, the wrongest I've ever been in my life. I always thought Gosling was a liability at cornerback in Remember the Titans. I didn't trust him in man coverage, press coverage, or even zone coverage. But as I saw this movie, and then I saw multiple Gosling movies, and my love for him just grew and grew. I think he's very talented, multi-dimensional, serious actor, very funny, underrated funny actor, and just funny in person. And even in La La Land, fantastic dancer, obviously going back to the Mickey Mouse Club. But yeah, Ryan, we did that again from Brian's email on our Going Great podcast about favorite songs in movies. And I did pick Real Human Being as one of my favorite songs, which came from this movie. And obviously the first thing about this movie I love is just the soundtrack. I mean, the synths. I mean, nothing sends me into my plums into orbit like a nice synth music. I love that. So it was right up my alley. The way it was shot, the cool night scenes, the colors. I enjoyed the colors in this movie. Obviously, the cinematography. Like Benny knows I'm a big dialogue guy, but there wasn't a lot of dialogue coming from Gosling in this movie. I think he only spoke like 117 words in this entire movie. So, yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was shot fantastic. The car chase scenes were awesome. Gosling just being a menace and not speaking that much was great. And also, it has one of my favorite actors and uh, you know, one of my celebrity crushes, Oscar Isaac, in this movie. So you get some Oscar Isaac in a fantastic performance, short lived, but no pun intended. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I did have some not reservations this time, but some things popped up where I was like, I'll get into it. But there were definitely some things that popped up the second time around that I didn't catch or didn't really, tune into. So I'll talk about that. But of course, I enjoyed it. I love this movie.
Nice, Benny.
No, go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty similar. I saw it a while ago. I mean, it came out in 2011. I'm pretty sure I watched it like right around then. I don't believe I saw it in theaters. But like right when it came out on whatever. Back then I was probably um pirating it, but don't tell the government I did that. Um I like it. I mean, there's a lot of good. I remember yesterday thinking like, all right, I got to watch this movie, and thinking to myself like, I don't really feel like watching this, to be honest. And we started watching it, and I was like in. I was hooked. I liked it a lot. It's definitely not like one of my favorite movies. It's a little too artsy for its own good. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, it's good. I don't need to watch it for another 10 years or 12 years or whatever at this point, but I liked it. I like Gosling's performance a lot. I liked Carey Mulligan's performance a lot, and pretty much everyone was good in it, and the music, like Robbie said, was good. And I really enjoy the we've seen a few of these already, but the quiet psychopath that Gosling plays, I just think that's such a interesting character to see on screen. Like all of a sudden, I don't think you really realize it until he tells that guy he's gonna kick his teeth down his throat, and I'm just like, oh, okay,
I'm interested.
handsome and crazy. I love it. So yeah, I really like this movie. But it's not like, you know, gonna win any awards in my mind.
But you got your whatchamacallit that you were yearning for in the kill. You got your psychopath with a love interest. So
Oh, and the love and I mean, listen, I think Carrie Mulligan. I don't know what it is, but uh, big time love with Carrie Mulligan.
There you
yeah,
go.
shout out Marcus Mumford.
Yeah, that's right. Aren't they married or something?
Yeah, for like almost like a decade, I think.
Wow. Still together?
I would wait
Yeah,
for her too.
still together. Yep. There you go.
Nice.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. I don't know any
For
other songs by them though.
for me, I felt like there's something about this movie that like I really like, and I think that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, or however that saying goes. Like there are things about the movie that I'm like, okay, or like whatever, or that really doesn't make sense. But the cinematography, the direction, the performances, the music, just everything adds up to something that's, I think, better than if you broke down each one of the parts. So I really enjoyed it, and I kind of did want to watch it again, like kind of, right away, just because there's more stuff I'd like to break down and just kind of um, appreciate more of the shots and the direction and that kind of stuff. Just because when you're watching it for the first time, you want the story. Story's a little all over the place and super outlandish. Whatever, it's an action movie, so that's fine. But like, I feel like if you held a microscope to this movie, I think what you're talking about, Ryan's like a little artsy for artsy's sake. Um, and just a lot of stuff that's just kind of out there and outlandish.
Right.
But on a whole, I think it all adds up to something that I like and I would watch again, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think sometimes artsy like sometimes really hits and sometimes it falls flat and it's just like you're being pretentious for no reason, like just to be artsy.
Yeah.
I feel like this kind of falls somewhere towards the good. Like I really did enjoy this, but there are parts where I'm just kind of like, all right, like whatever. But
Honestly, I feel like it when it got artsy, there was like a banger track behind it. So I was like, all right, I'm into this. I'm into a little like
that
music
definitely
video interlude right now. So I mean, right off the bat, the first song, Night Callers or whatever, I was like, all right, I'm fucking in. Like this song is hitting. I'm ready for this movie to get going. I loved how colorful it was. I love how, especially in the first scene, there's like a quote unquote car chase, but it's like it's crazy to how wild the movie gets, but how like grounded in reality that first car chase scenes. He's not like doing all this wild stuff. Like
yeah.
everything he
He's
does,
hiding, he's dodging.
yeah, he shoots into the parking garage and just walks out. Like it felt, I was like, okay, so this is gonna be kind of something that's grounded in reality, and then obviously spirals completely out of control.
I was gonna ask what because I know Ryan saw it, but like not knowing the movie, I was gonna ask you what was going through your head when that first song just dropped in the credits. Like, cause when the first time it happened to me, I was like, oh man, this song's fantastic, and just the way it hits and then he's going over they're filming over the skyline and the credits are coming in. I was like, oh man, I'm all in.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it was, not, I don't want to be Mr. LA, but like just seeing like that whole, the way LA is set out, it's beautiful at night, and him just driving the car around with that song playing is like, it felt like it could have been me driving around listening to like Daft Punk at night and just kind of taking it all in. So yeah, I definitely loved it. And I was like, all right, I'm into this thing.
And when like real quick, when you guys mean artsy, it's like, what are you talking about? Like what like when you say artsy?
I mean, personally, I don't know if I can even really define it. Like it's like an independent movie. And yeah, I'm not smart enough to really define like what I'm trying to say with that, but I feel like I know what I mean in my own head when I say artsy. I, that I don't know if that makes sense, but that's like how I feel. Like it's just like lingering on shots for too long, like specific colors, like specific ways that they're shooting. That's not, or I would say that is atypical of like a big budget movie. And not that any of that is bad. It's not bad, but I think sometimes filmmakers do it and it's fucking awesome. And this is more towards that. Like I'm not trying to be negative about it, but then there's filmmakers that try to do that and come off as like tryhards and being pretentious about their film. I don't know. I don't know if any of that made sense, but Benny, help me
I yeah, I'm
out.
picking up I'm picking up a little bit of what you're saying, but yeah, for me it's just like the beautiful cinematography and the direction kind of like takes precedent over kind of everything else. Um, like they made a lot of choices in this movie, right? Like Gosling not speaking that much. And even when he did speak, it was like the little playoff that I did in the beginning of the intro, just taking like a minute before he responds to a question or something like that. And it just kind of, it's like, and in a way, this is like a hipster movie because they brought this thing around to a million different studios and they all kind of declined it. Um, so I think that the director had a lot of freedom to do that kind of stuff. And I think he took advantage of it. But to me, I think it serves this story. Like I loved all the artsy shots and just like the beautiful scenery and the way things are framed. And like Ryan said, it's not something you're gonna see if this was Drive starring Vin Diesel, like it would have been a completely different movie. And it would have been all about like the explosions and crazy car jumps to get out of those situations. So when I say artsy, I just mean it looks nice and they're just doing things that you don't typically see in like a big budget movie, more of like you get that indie feel from it. And I think they took advantage of not having like this big studio overhead to rein them in a little bit, but I also think in the same breath that it serves this movie well. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Robbie.
No, it does. And you almost got Drive starring Hugh Jackman. So
Yeah.
Oh, please.
yeah, that was the
Dri-
first choice.
X-Men
Fucking
Drive.
Wolverine.
X-Men Drive. And you mentioned Vin Diesel. I mean, you got Fast and the Furious, so there you go. Those are your
Yeah,
drives on
exactly.
steroids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't really know how to define what I mean by that. I think Robbie, Benny helped like kind of point me in the right direction. But like when I see a movie by like Michel Gondry or like a movie like Lost in Translation or something like that, like you're just like, this is art as much as it is film. And sometimes it really works and sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe artsy is just like a catch-all phrase for myself because I don't know how to properly express what I'm trying to say with it. But I think we all sort of know what that
Yeah,
means.
like I could show you two movies that I consider artsy and they may not look the same at all. I just think that they kind of it's something where the movie's not made to make $1 trillion. It's made for maybe like the love of filmmaking and they're doing things more visually than necessarily to appeal to the masses. I guess that's kind of the best way that I would put it. Like, I'm sure if you showed that to, some person that doesn't care about movies and a film student or someone that's super into movies, like you'd probably get two different opinions from them, one that loves it and one that like doesn't understand what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah, I think artsy to me is like Wes Anderson. Like even the stuff that he
Yeah.
did on Netflix, the new stuff he came out with, those like shorts, they were more artsy than, the story was enjoyable. Whereas the point, I was like, I got to turn this off 15 minutes in, but it was beautifully shot. Not but yeah, so that's like artsy to me. And even like you were saying, but like I picked up like even picking up on it this time around, I'm like, man, he's definitely taking little too long to answer these questions. I'm like, nobody's picking up on this guy's an absolute fucking lunatic. So some of these little things that I picked up the second go around. I mean, it's been like 5 years, I think, since I watched it, which was funny to me.
Well, I mean, you got a handsome man like Gosling looking you in the eye. You're letting it happen. Doesn't matter
Melting.
how long yeah, it doesn't matter how long it takes to answer your question.
That's what I'm saying. It's fucking clean up in aisle three.
For real. Robbie, I have a question for you. Was this seeing this movie pre or post when you started getting into like music like this? So like when you saw it, were you like, did this awaken something in you, or were you like, I love this shit because I already love it?
I think it was pre.
Okay.
So I think when this came out, or it was like in the middle maybe, but when this came out, I was delving more into the indie scene, more like Passion Pit, groups like that. So I was already going there, but I think this movie, this soundtrack,
Helped.
elevated me to like just like, all right, there's more than just Terror Squad. I can fucking there's more to life than just fucking Fat Joe and the Terror Squad. Like I need to expand my horizons, and this stuff really like made me look more into like synth music and explore more of my musical side and taste than just 2000s rap.
Nice. There isn't much more than Terror Squad to this life, but there's a little more.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
yeah,
respect on Fat Joe's name.
please. I'm sorry. I mean, every time I do have some back pain, I'm always able to lean back and fix that. So thank God.
I saw Fat Joe perform at halftime at like a random Knicks game. I think they just saw him in the crowd. I'm like, come on out. Why don't you do a couple songs for the crowd?
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. I saw Fat Joe at Summer Jam.
Oh,
Uh,
please.
when Lean Back was popping, I had my Julius Erving throwback on, like I was from fucking Yonkers.
And your Rockaway sweats.
Rockaway sweats, and I pulled up in a fucking Champagne Saturn, 1997.
I don't know no one up in Yonkers. I ain't fucking up anyone up in Yonkers. All right, we have gone off the rails, but in a good way. Let's pull it back in and do some plum scores. Does anyone want to go first?
I'll go.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so like I was saying, I kind of when I originally was thinking about scoring this movie, I was maybe in the sevens. And what I kept thinking back to with this movie was 25th Hour. Like they kind of felt the same to me, and I feel like I enjoyed them on the same level. And like I said, I think if you judge everything by themselves, you get something like 7.8, 7.6, 7.7. But I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go flat 8 on it just because I really did enjoy it. And the soundtrack, the performances, the people that are in the movie, I just loved it. So I'll go with an 8, strong 8.
They call you down on the streets, right? A strong 8,
Strong, hard 8. They call
a
it a
hard
hard
8. Robbie, you want to go?
Okay. Yeah, I was back and forth on my score. I was I'm not going to give it a 7. I don't sevens aren't in my vocabulary unless it's Big Lebowski.
Fuck
And
out
Almost
of me.
Famous. And Almost Famous. But yeah, I think the second time around I enjoyed it, but not as much as the first time around. I still love the movie, but I think there were things that I kind of picked up on the second time around, how pretty slow paced in the beginning. Maybe the first half an hour was slogging through for me. There obviously, like Benny said, there was some unrealistic stuff to the story. But I mean, the cinematography, the music, and the performances, I mean, with a $15 million budget and you get so many like legit heavy hitters, I don't know. I don't know if Carey Mulligan is a like Academy Award winner, but I definitely know she's nominated. And Cranston's a fantastic actor, and so is Albert Brooks and Oscar Isaac as well. I mean, to get all these people on a small budget, it's a testament to the director and Gosling. But I enjoyed the story. I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. It's always a good time for me when I watch it. I didn't rent it. I actually bought it for $5.99, so it's there forever.
Wow.
So if anybody wants it, holler at my Apple ID and I'll give it to you. But yeah, I'm gonna go with 8.6. Um, I enjoyed it. I would 100%. It's definitely a rewatchable for me. Um, the only thing that deterred me was the slow pacing in the beginning.
That's what I feel like. Not that like I said, yeah, it's unrealistic. So is every other movie in the world, but like I feel like what was so jarring for me was that opening chase sequence where it was like so based in reality. Like I kind of thought that that's how the whole movie was going to go. Obviously, I love where it ended up, and eventually I'm just like, what are you worried about? This is just an action movie. Like it's just as plausible as 90% of the other things that you watch. So I think that was maybe my disconnect was like I kind of set my mind in one spot and then had to change it kind of midway through the movie.
Yeah, I think somebody even like sued. I don't know if they sued the director or sued the movie studio because the trailer wasn't like what they thought the movie was going to be. They thought they were going
Really?
to see like maybe like a Fast and the Furious, something like that. They had no idea that people's fucking skulls were going to get kicked in an elevator and things like that. So, but that's just people being stupid, So, but yeah, I guess it was a little misleading. But yeah, if you don't know what you get into, obviously, it definitely picks up the violence like half an hour, 45 minutes in, and doesn't stop until the end.
Yeah, Robbie, she has been nominated twice for an Academy Award, but has not won.
Good
So,
actress.
but yeah, no, she's very good. And like I said before, I got a big crush on her. I don't know why.
Well, she's listening. Carrie, come
Yeah.
on,
Carrie, come on. Tell me you think I'm cute. She
please.
thinks I'm cute. Um, so I feel kind of the same way as you guys as far as my score. I went kind of back and forth, and I feel like all the other ratings that I've given other movies are like really starting to weigh on me. And like I almost wish I could like rescore all of them because like I'm coming in and I'm like my heart's like, all right, this is the score. And then I look at some of the other scores and I'm like, but it's not better than that, or it's worse than that. Why would I give that this score? But I can't live like that. So I'm just gonna go with what my gut was and say 8.2. I really like this movie. Again, like I said, I don't love it. Um, and I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it, but you know, even the slower part in the beginning, I really liked. Like I said, I started watching, I was like in, and when the violence starts showing up, I'm intrigued. Christina Hendricks show up for like 5 seconds, intrigued. Oscar Isaac, although like there's really only I feel like one kind of weak actor, and maybe I'll get to pick him in my least favorites later. But overall, really good movie. Um, definitely like it a lot. So 8.2.
I'm
Um,
I
with
wanted
you
to get
on.
like a
Go ahead,
go
Rob.
ahead.
mine's quick, but after this movie, I was, debating if to go on Amazon and get myself some driving gloves.
Oh,
I
those
didn't know.
gloves are perfect.
I
Yeah,
mean, I didn't
please.
know. I mean, once I put that Tiguan in sport mode, look out, Sunrise Highway.
Just be careful. You might want to get some earplugs too for when you're driving that thing and those beeps are going off.
Oh, please, Jesus Christmas.
No, I'm with you, Ryan. Like, I feel like I got to stop looking at my previous scores because I just need to let my scoring um, scale kind of evolve on its own. And like, the more movies we do, the better it's going to get. And I just can't think back to like some of the previous scores I gave. Like, I don't hate them, but I just wish it was a little bit more spread out than it is.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me. Like, if I really like, if I, I'm telling you, man, it's going to be a very rare thing if a movie's in the sixes for me and not the upper sevens. Because if I can find a reason to kind of like anything, um, unless we're going to watch like some crappy rom com, from like 2002, it's going to be hard for me to go super low. So I'm really trying to let the scale just kind of evolve on its own. And I didn't look at him before this one because I when I came to the score, I didn't want to look at what was around it because I know like the one thing that popped into my head was like I gave T2 I think an 8.1 or something, and like the fact that those movies are so close, I honestly might like Drive a little bit more than T2. I know, God forbid, to the both of yous, but it's just what speaks to me. But then to I have to give it a lower score. I just can't, I can't think about it.
The following rom-coms came out in 2002: Two Weeks Notice, Made in Manhattan, Big Fat Greek Wedding, Sweet Home Alabama, Sweetest Thing, and several others. So maybe we'll watch one of those.
Sweet Home Alabama, Sweetest Thing, and Big Fat Greek Wedding are on the agenda this
On
week.
the agenda this week. Um, yeah. So what do you guys want to do next? Should we do characters or scenes?
I feel like I always pick Robbie. You pick.
Oh, let's go characters.
Good choice. Let's do favorite characters. Robbie, would you like to go first since you picked?
No, I don't. I don't want to go first.
Oh, all right.
Go ahead, Rob.
You go first.
Oh, okay. Um, I didn't think I was gonna go first. Um, but I feel like I have to pick the driver. I mean, he is the best character in this film for me, but I was kind of hoping to pick a like one of the smaller minor characters that I really like. Maybe I'll get to do that in Ani Menches. But I mean, Gosling, so good, so fucking handsome. Um, just the quiet, like crazy that he exuded in a number of scenes was just very good. When he rolls up with a fucking hammer and just goes off on that guy, I love that shit. Wasn't a fan of him hitting Christina Hendricks. However, I get it. But other than that, like really like this character. Um, yeah, I mean he's the main character, so I guess I got to pick him as the first pick.
I'm so mad too. I'm so mad because I said to myself last night, I said, don't forget to to
With
have
the
a toothpick
toothpick.
in your mouth
I
when you start the
know.
show. And then I looked at a quote and it said, "Do you want he when he says to Benicio, you want a toothpick?" And I was like, "Motherfucker, I forgot the damn toothpick."
That would have been a
Cut,
good move.
turn this off. Cut it.
Yes, start it over.
I'll be right back.
You want to go second or third, Rob?
I'll go third.
So this is a homer pick. Like this is just my guy. I gotta take him if he's sitting on the board. Give me Bryan Cranston as Shannon, even though he fucks up. But that's kind of his character in a nutshell. I love Bryan Cranston, and my bees almost fucking blew into orbit when he was talking about Driver, and he's like, "Oh, where'd he go?" He's like, "Oh, he could be in Mexico or Belize." And if you watch Breaking Bad, one of the places they say when they're killing someone is we're going to send them to Belize. So I was like, oh, nice. That made a nice little connection for me. But yeah, give me Bryan Cranston any day of the week. Seinfeld, Breaking Bad. I just love him so much. I love the the juxtaposition. It's probably the wrong word for his, or yeah, maybe the wrong word for his character, where he's like so confident and cocky, but he also has that like bad luck cloud hanging over him. I just thought he did a great job at the movie. I'm super excited he was in it as much as he was. I kind of thought it was going to be a smaller role than it was. I don't know why, just when he popped onto the screen. But yeah, give me Bryan Cranston all day.
Yeah, I forgot how much he was in this movie. I was actually happy because I thought that I remembered it differently. I was like, oh, I love Cranston, but I don't think he's in this movie a lot, but he was. And I was reading up where he came up with the idea on his death in this movie. Spoiler alert, if nobody, saw this movie, but it was like he like dreamt it and came up with the idea and like pitched it to the director, and he was all in on it, which is a tough scene, but Cranston's the best. I love him.
Yeah, that pulled at my heartstrings, man. I was like, how can you? He was so close to getting out,
He
and
was, and like you
geez,
said, I felt so bad for him because, I mean, forever the optimist
yeah,
with shit luck,
yeah,
just a bad luck. I
yeah.
felt so bad for him. Um, yeah. So my favorite character is standard Oscar Isaac. I love Oscar Isaac. I think I fell in love with Oscar Isaac when I saw Ex Machina. I thought he was fantastic in that movie. I don't know, something about him. I just love the way he acts. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's his face, but I don't know what it is about him. But I thought he was great in this movie as well. Very, very, short part. Um, Very unrealistic that he was okay, that this handsome stunt man was just around his wife and kid the entire time and, taking care of him. That was kind of out in left field and kind of annoyed me that he was just okay with it. But just another guy was looking to to turn his life around, but forever in trouble, forever just like stuck to bad dudes and always, having to repay somebody. So that was a shock when I first saw it. And it was even a shock again when I watched it, like how he died. I forgot how that happened. And I knew he was gonna die, but I forgot how it happened. And him just getting shot in the side of the ear and the face kind of took me by surprise. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's a fantastic actor, and definitely one of my favorite. Obviously, Ryan Gosling and Cranston, but Oscar Isaac as standard was my favorite favorite actor in this movie, favorite character.
The way I kind of justified that, I don't know if I want to call it friendship right off the bat, but he definitely was gonna fuck him up or wanted to fuck him up right when they first met. But I think that if he was honest about wanting to fix things and do right and take responsibility, I feel like there was part of him that accepted the fact that it's his fault that they met and they started hanging out and stuff like that. So he kind of accepted it. And maybe I don't know. It You got the vibe, obviously, that they're into each other, but did they bang before that? So maybe they had a conversation, Standard and Irene, that like, hey, nothing happened, but I was hanging out with him a lot. He helped out with the kid and all that kind of stuff. And I think once Standard kind of realized that he put himself in this position, not that he was okay with it, but he understood it was his own fault that all that stuff happened.
That's true. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He did fuck up and he was away because of what he did. So that's true.
And plus,
But
like, let's. Oh, go ahead, Robbie.
no, go ahead. No, go.
I was just gonna say, like, if you came home from a trip, from jail, from wherever, and Ryan Gosling's there, you just have to
That's the
accept
other
it.
thing. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like
Yeah,
the only thing he could do is keep his cool.
Just have to accept it. He's so
that's
good
true.
looking that you're just like, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm either gonna freak out and push her completely into his arms, or I could try to fucking finagle my way out of this thing.
Right. And Oscar Isaac's no slouch either. My wife was like excited that he was in it. She's a big fan of his. So he's a good looking dude as well. But I mean, Gosling's top tier.
I
I
know,
love it.
please.
I love Oscar Isaac the best. His dance scene in Ex Machina. Oh boy, the plums were fucking had to get sewn back
Plums
together.
with dancing too.
Oh my god, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but uh, I don't know if I thought it might have been too grotesque for your wife, Ryan. When I saw that she voted for it, I was like, all right, I'm into it.
No, yeah, she saw it a long time ago too, and she was kind of like hesitant as well. But she liked we watched it together. Usually, the movies we watch, I get to watch by myself, but she was into it, especially with Oscar Isaac and Gosling. I mean,
Yeah.
come on,
Irene, I mean, she's like picking from the top of the draft board.
for
She's got a
real.
great recruiting program. Whatever she's doing, better keep it up.
She's Nick Saban.
That's right. Transfer portal, just grabbing everybody.
That's it.
I don't know. You know what I don't like about a movie like this, where like fucking Gosling's so good looking that nobody remarks on it. Like nobody's just like to Cranston, Jesus Christ, your mechanic is fucking hot. Like nobody says anything. You just accept this insanely handsome dude is just working at the
Slumming
mechanic,
it.
being a stunt rod driver. Yeah, helping his neighbors bring groceries upstairs. Whatever.
Yeah, one thing I've never seen with it, sorry, but a hot mechanic. I've never seen a hot mechanic, so I don't know. Not the ones I've been to, at least.
Well, there was that hot mechanic in Jugs on the Run too.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
When
That's
she's taking
right.
that, she has to take the jugs into the shop.
Yeah.
That's right. What was his name? Barry Peppenhuh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his name, right? Yeah, he was handsome.
I think there was also a hot mechanic, actually an aerospace mechanic in her comma Stellar.
Oh my God. That's right. I remember that. That
Um,
was good. That was good.
anyone have any Ani mentions they want to talk about? I have two.
Go ahead, since you had to go chalk on your pick.
All right. I'll go one, and then if no one else names the person out, because I just want to call out. I would have picked between these two if I didn't go first, because I'm sure one of you guys would have taken Gosling, but I'll go Irene, Carrie Mulligan. Like I said before, huge crush, but she was also really good in this movie. I like the character a lot. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed her character. I loved, her and Benicio kind of together, and how Gosling like interacted with them. Like it was very very sweet until it wasn't.
Yeah. My Auntie Mensch, give me Al Brooks. I mean,
Yeah,
please,
that was
somebody
my
named
other one.
Brooks, Al Brooks, Mel Brooks, Brooks Robinson,
That's right.
Brooks Kepka. I mean, just
Brooks
come on.
Brooks
was
from Shawshank.
Brooks was here.
Oh, please, please, Brooks from Shawshank. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I love Al Brooks.
Love him.
He's just one of those guys, man. He's insanely funny, but then can always turn it on in like a dramatic role. So I love Al Brooks, and I was pumped when his name popped up on the screen in the beginning of the movie.
I love his voice, and I mean, I every time I hear his voice, all I think of is Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. But just yeah, he's very funny, and he was in a lot of stuff. But he was good as the I don't know if he's a gangster in this movie, but the criminal that he was, or the
Yeah.
whatever he was up to, he was good in it. I liked it a lot. Liked him a lot. Anyone else?
No, I mean he shaved his eyebrows for the movie,
Yeah, to look more menacing.
and he's isn't his brother Super Dave Osborne?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Rest in peace.
Yeah. No. I love his
I don't really
voice
have
too,
anybody.
or loved his voice. Both my
Wait,
Yeah, that
characters were really good.
Bob Einstein?
yeah.
Yeah,
They're
It was
brothers?
I'm pretty
his
sure.
Albert Brooks changed his last name.
Yeah,
Oh,
They're
wow, I
brothers,
didn't
yeah.
know that. Holy shit.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to be Albert Einstein.
I
So
didn't
he
even put
changed
that
it.
together. That's awesome. All right.
imagine growing
Yeah,
up as
that
Albert Einstein. He must have been tormented. No wonder he's funny, because he had to develop a good sense of humor.
yeah. Um
Yeah,
yeah,
Anyone?
wow. How
so
about that? How about that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
see, there you go. You learn something new every day and let the boys watch.
Oh my God, please clip it and put it online. We got to get people in.
What was his name in Curb?
Oh shit.
Funkhauser?
Funkhauser.
Funkhauser. Yeah.
Yeah, Marty Funkhauser.
The Funk
The
Man.
Funk Man.
Love it.
That joke he tells Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, so good.
Fu- Unbelievable.
Just the
There's
way
this
he tells it, and Jerry's reaction is so good.
there's this clip going around from that show he used to do, the Super Bob show, where it's him. He's laying on like this catapult thing in front of a basketball hoop. I'm so pissed I started telling the story because it's gonna fucking fall flat. But he's just like laying on it in like this like evil Knievel get up, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna launch, and it's gonna stop, and I'm gonna dunk the ball." And they launch. He's like, "All right, stop." He's like, "Oh, it's not stopping," and the dummy just smashes into the backboard. So good. I gotta find that clip and send it to you guys.
I can't wait. Um, all right, let's move on and do least favorite characters. Robbie, since you went last. you get to go first.
Yeah, so this isn't gonna save your girl. I'm gonna go Irene as my least favorite character, and not because she was a terrible actress. I love Carey Mulligan. She's fantastic. I'm just not a big fan of like, you know, what she did. I don't know if she was divorced from Standard. I think Standard maybe thought that they were still together, but like, I'm not a big fan of shit like that. And I wasn't obviously Gosling's a handsome devil, but yeah, I didn't enjoy that. And then when he comes home from jail, she's just like, you know, I wish she would call the cops. Is she still in love with him? Does she hate him? Does she want to be with Gosling? Um, but I think she needs to go see a nice therapist as well, because she did see Gosling gets stomp somebody's skull out into the elevator, and then saw how much of a psychopath he was, and then wanted to knock on his apartment door at the end to just say hello. So I don't know. That's a little crazy for me. I would have took Benicio and got the hell out of there and never looked back. But hey, people love bad boys. They don't like the good boys. So
True.
I understand where she's coming from. But yeah, I didn't really have a lot of hateful characters in this movie, or a character I didn't like. I just didn't like some of the things she did. So sorry, Irene. You're my least favorite character.
I want to just go on record and say that I loved Irene in this movie, just so this doesn't seem like it's about to become the misogyny hour. Um, but my least favorite character was Christina Hendricks as Blanche. I
It
can't
was
stand
bad.
Christina. I can't stand Christina Hendricks. I really cannot. Like, even in Mad Men, like, she was okay, but still her
She
whole
stunk.
person, yeah, her whole personality is I have red hair and huge knockers, and I need more than that. I need more than that. And she was just so dull in this movie. I'm not going to say I was glad what happened to her in the movie, but I was definitely like, okay, great. I don't have to deal with her for the rest of this movie. Um, I don't know what it is. I mean, listen, I'm not as crazy as Robbie and say that I don't like Anne Hathaway, because that was just a fucking ridiculous take. But yeah, Christina Hendricks, not for me. Sorry.
Oh, I doubled down on me and my Anne Hathaway hate. So
uh, I mean, that's wild.
she stinks. She really chaps the old ass.
It's definitely going to be. If we're not doing Christmas movies next week, it's Anne Hathaway week. It's got to be.
Oh, if
Ah,
it's Anne Hathaway week, I'll be dangling from a chandelier.
um,
Benny confirmed, not a boob guy. I didn't know that about
wow.
him.
Listen,
So
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just, I mean, let's get a little bit more personality going on there, Christina. And if
that's
you want to
She
true.
come on
was
the
good in Mad
podcast,
Men.
I don't know. I thought she was kind of bland in that too. Like, but again, that was the role. It was like sex pot of The Office in the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. So whatever with that, but
Nah,
whatever
her
else. Go
she
ahead.
wasn't good in this movie. I agree with
No,
you.
she wasn't. She
But
wasn't.
No,
And
she stunk.
if she wants to come on the podcast, maybe get a drink. I mean, whatever. I'm not, listen,
Couple Spagliatos.
please.
um,
There's only one
I
Blanche that we acknowledge around here on this
Oh,
podcast,
that's a fact.
and that's
oh
Blanche from
man,
Golden Girls.
I think her
Yes.
last name is Devereaux.
Oh my God, please! What a fucking fan! That must be French.
thank you for being a friend.
Is she dead? If not, get on a podcast.
Yeah, Blanche, please. All right, my least favorite character is also a woman. No, I'm just kidding because I'm not misogynist like you two. Um, for some reason, and I normally like him, and maybe like Robbie, like you normally like Carey Mulligan. I normally like Ron Perlman, but for some reason, I did not like his character in this movie. Like it just fell flat for me. Like he didn't really come off as menacing, and maybe that was the point, that he's like an inept idiot, and like like Albert Brooks was saying, like the family treats him like a child and like whatever. So maybe that's he's supposed to be that way, but yeah, I just didn't like him. He just seemed like such a fucking oaf in this movie. I just
He stunk.
yeah,
That was gonna be my Ani Mensch,
yeah,
and because I honestly felt like, because not that, well, yeah, it was a low budget movie, but they were almost kind of like, yeah, just do your thing, and he
yeah.
just kind of like, I felt like I was reading his Twitter feed Like he was acting like he acts in real life, where he's like this just loudmouth tough guy. And I haven't seen him in much else, honestly, other than like just he cuts promos on fucking Twitter, like talking shit about people, um, which I love because he's funny. He just tears people apart.
Yeah.
But I can't get over the fact that he looks like a real life Thanos.
Right.
Like the way his
Said he
face
usually,
is, his chin, and it's just got like all like the ripples in it. Like if you paint him purple, he's like Thanos or Thanos's dad.
Thanos Senior.
Yeah,
They had to have considered him for that role, I would assume.
they should have,
I don't know. No,
but I
he
don't think they would have liked him dropping f bombs in Avengers Endgame.
probably not. But for that kind of paycheck, I think you can you know, keep
Scale
your
it back.
yeah, scale back the cursing. But no, he's good in a lot of things. And I love his voice, and the way he says a lot of things, like you said on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, this character fell flat for me. Whatever.
Agreed.
All right, let's do least favorite scenes first, and then we'll do favorite scenes after. So who wants to start least favorite scene? I went first last time, I'm not going first again.
Robbie.
sure. By the way, Blanche has been dead since 2010, so she can't be on the
What?
pod. Yeah, so she's off the pod. Fuck.
She couldn't have even
So
been in this movie.
no, exactly.
That's upsetting.
Um, yeah, my least favorite scene is a sentimental scene. It's Shannon's death. That's my least favorite scene. I felt bad, just one tugged at my heartstrings. Um, because I know I don't know anything, but I would like to think that Shannon wanted to do right by Gosling and thought he was doing the right thing and didn't know how it was going to end up. I just thought it was funny that one scene where he kept on asking Gosling about the money. He's like, man, just imagine what we could do with all that money, and Gosling's just blowing him off.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tough. The first time I saw it, I was surprised. I didn't know that he was going to die, and it was a tough scene and tough death to watch. And like we said before, forever the optimist kind of guy, and just a string of bad luck. But you kind of knew that was going to happen and how it was going to end. So yeah, it was tough. So I'm gonna have to go with that on the emotional standpoint as my least favorite scene because it was tough to see Shannon go.
You want to go
Okay.
second, Ryan?
Sure. My least favorite scene was also because of I didn't like it. Not because I thought it was a bad scene, but because it just made me a little upset. But when Benicio is witness to his father's beating, that was just, you could just tell he was like traumatized. I did not like seeing that. Um, you know, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else on that, but yeah, that was upsetting because there wasn't like a lot of. This was a nice, and we haven't mentioned it yet, a nice tight 140. I finished this and I watched something else because that's how much time I had in the rest of the evening.
I read a whole book cover to cover.
Whole book cover to cover. So there wasn't a lot of, I thought, which is funny because there's so many parts where it's no one says anything and there's silence and stuff, but there wasn't a lot of dead weight. I felt like it was pretty tight. So there wasn't a lot of bad scenes, but that scene was a little upsetting, seeing the kid upset.
So I just kind of made this connection in my head, but I compared this movie to 25th Hour, and I'm gonna go like 25th Hour, pick a scene where there's a conversation by the window. That was my least favorite scene, and it was the conversation that Gosling and Irene were having. That was like the most pronounced. The I'm not gonna answer for like 45 seconds, Scott, and it was a little awkward, and there was like at some point, I feel like if that conversation actually happened with a woman, she'd be like, "You're a fucking creep.
Yeah.
Please leave my house right now."
Yeah,
But
but
he's so,
if he looked like Gosling,
that's
doesn't
true, and
matter.
that's again that old jealousy is creeping back up in me. Um, and yeah, it was like super awkward. I thought that was I didn't mind the tension and the silence in a lot of parts of the movie, but it just stuck out to me a lot in that one. I don't know why, and you can't blame it on Gosling because that's the direction that he's getting. So whatever. Um, and again, nothing that's going to ruin the movie for me. It was just the one thing that kind of stuck out to me. So not a sin against the whole entire movie, but just something that it was just awkward and it didn't feel right to me.
Fair. Any honorable mentions for least faves?
Yeah, him leaving the money. That's so fucking
That was
stupid.
stupid.
I hated that. I forgot he left the money, and when I saw it at the end, I'm like, ah, this
You went through
fucking
all that.
stink. Yeah, I'm like, you went through so much shit to not take that money. A friend died, you know, your lover's husband died that you were trying to help out. Like all these things you went through, I said, and you're not going to take this $1 million that's could be life changing for you wherever you go. Like, come on. I hate shit like that because it's so unrealistic. No idiot in their right fucking mind is going to leave $1 million just sitting there on principle. Dude, I'm getting so angry. That's it. I'm done. I'm angry. That's it. I'm not talking no more.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could think of with that, and the only way I justify it to myself was, I guess, because Al Brooks told him, like, you're never going to be safe.
Right.
Maybe that was his last ditch effort of, I killed him. Here's the money. Whoever finds this body that's in line with Al Brooks is going to be like, okay, well, he left the money. So you know what? He's already caused enough damage. But yeah, I was the same way. If you're dipping anyway and you're never to be seen again, just take the fucking money.
At least
What are you
take a
doing?
few stacks.
Yeah, come on, please.
Something.
Please.
And
A couple
no
Betty
one no
Franks.
one connected to Brooks is gonna find that. It's gonna be it's a fucking busy metropolitan area. Some person is gonna change their fucking life and find $1 million next to a dead body. They're gonna grab that bag, call the cops and say there's a dead body, but there's no bags next to him.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering, there's definitely not a
Definitely
huge
not a
bag of
duffel
money
bag.
Yeah.
laying next to the guy. Just a dead guy. That's it.
Yeah.
Weird.
So what's that behind you? Nothing.
That's my gym bag.
Yeah. My favorite scenes.
This is hard for me because there's definitely a bunch, but I'm gonna I'm gonna go, I guess I'll call it chalk in my mind because it was the first thing that just jumped out to me, and it was the opening credits with the song. Sorry, buddy. Just because
Uh
it really fucking hooked it really fucking hooked me into the movie, and I was digging the song. I love the choice of the pink writing. I don't know why. I just thought it was really cool. Um, I mean, just cruising around the streets, like I mentioned earlier, just felt real to me. I loved it, man. I'm not a big opening credits guy in general, but when and you really nail it, I love it, and I think they really nailed it on this one. Um, and it like I said, it got me geared up for the movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what opening credit scenes so far we watched that got me as good as this. Pulp Fiction, probably, of course.
Mhm.
good one.
Um, but yeah, great choice. That was my number one. But hey, life isn't fair sometimes.
It's not.
Yeah. Um
Sometimes, even though it's as hard as you try to give somebody COVID, they don't get
No, yeah. I mean,
it.
that's what it is. Somebody that wants to take me out and fucking and see me die. You know,
question.
that's some people I know.
Benny, did you backwash that wine and spray Robbie with it in hopes you were infecting him?
Not only that, we shared at least one, not like, oh, here, you drink, I drink, but like, oh, try this. We shared at least one drink, I think. So I don't know what the fuck this kid's got inside of him, but I think they may need to figure out, he might be the cure to COVID.
Maybe.
It pains me in my heart that you hate me this much. After all the things, after all the things I do for you, the nice things I say for you. I don't want to say this out loud that people don't know, but I did go to Manila on a plane but
How many hours?
That's 17 hours back and forth. That's
Wow.
34 hours, baby.
17 hours, like the amount of time it took me to watch this movie because I had to go run in my bedroom and take fucking pictures of my shoes for you. But I'm sure you'll talk about that on Going Gray this week. So that's a tease, babe.
It is.
Tease. Imagine, Ryan, imagine that. 6 minutes for something for me. 17 hours.
34 hours. That's a
In
full
30
work week.
I'm pausing the movie. I got to take pictures of my shoes. Then I come sit back down. Now I got to go take the sole out and take a picture of that. It's just, I mean, when is it going to end, Ryan?
I don't know.
Ryan, I'm sitting in fucking in economy. You know, I got fucking a mask on 17 hours. I'm fucking like this. I'm drugged up. I'm doing all types of drugs to go to sleep. 17 hours there. I get off the plane, traffic. I don't want to say everything. And I'm getting hounded for 6 minutes.
You
Not
got to
only
watch
that,
you got to watch Bullet Train for 17 hours straight.
yeah. Not only that, him and his wife just tried to kill me last week, ruin my Thanksgiving, destroy me. The things you do for people. I guess people forget. But hey, and like I said, God forgives. I don't. So other than that,
uh, what was your
I
favorite
might,
scene?
I might have to cancel this week, Ryan. I might not be able to make it Saturday.
Oh no.
Uh,
I'm working on a new kind of sickness in the lab, so be ready.
God. Katie
Probably
will
Ebola or
literally
something like that.
stab you if you get her sick.
I think we're in the clear for a while. All right, favorite scene. Go ahead.
All right. Favorite scenes.
My favorite scene is once this we turn this podcast off, so I don't got to see Benny's face ever again. Now, my favorite scene is another scene. Yeah, it could be a bunch of killing scenes, but I don't want people to get the wrong idea about me. I'm gonna go another sentimental scene with a fantastic song choice. When Gosling takes Irene and Benicio on a little joyride. I don't know if that's the LA River. I don't know what that is.
Yep, that's Yellow River.
Yeah. I was asking Ryan, not you. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, that song, one of my top 10 songs in the movie ever. Just thought it was a nice. You get to see a little sentimental, sweet side from Gosling. He's not the killer that people think he is. He's a little sweetie, and that's what I want to see out of my Goss. Somebody that pulls out my heartstrings. So I saw that. It was nice. Just wanted to be there for Irene and the kid, and it was a cool scene. And what made the scene was just the song, and definitely one of my favorite scenes in the movie. If I can't take the opening scene, I'm going to go with this one. So that was my favorite scene.
Yeah, I love it. I think I will go with a violent scene because I don't care what people think about me, and I'm gonna go with the scene when he strolls in with a hammer to what the hell was that guy's name? Was it like the Cook,
Cook.
and just fucking unloads on his hand, and then has the bullet that he gave to Benicio, and just gets Nino on the horn. Love that scene. I mean, there was a number, like pretty much every scene, the scene in the elevator, the driving scenes, like the scene in the hotel room with Christina Hendricks when the fucking guys roll in, like all those. And I'm probably taking some money mentions. I apologize, but like all
A
those,
lot of them.
yeah, violent scenes by Gosling versus his such like quiet, relaxed demeanor of the other is such a, and Benny used it correctly earlier. I'm going to use it again. A juxtaposition of his character was so good. Yeah, I mean, I liked a lot of those scenes, and I just picked that one because I sent you guys that picture earlier, and that's what made me think of it.
Love it.
So I mentions, I know I took them all, but does anyone have any specific ones they want to call out?
Robbie, since I stole your scene.
Please.
Tried to steal his life.
Yeah, you tried. I mean, just tell me you hate me without telling me you hate me. Nino's death was cool because I liked the way it was shot from, looking at him from the passenger side window. The scene, another quick one. I won't steal anything else, but the scene where he shows up to the pizza place in that fucking mask was cool. I don't know why he did that if he's not going in like that, but maybe he just want to be seen. But it was cool. Loved the way he walked up, and then his face was just in the only opening of whatchamacallit, of the pizza place. Uh, I'm, I'm I'm sure Nino's not slinging good pizza in that place anyway,
No,
especially LA
that is
pizza. No
trash
way.
pizza.
Yeah,
No, LA
absolutely
pizza
not.
confirmed not good.
No.
My Ani mention, I know you glossed over it quickly, Ryan, but it was the hotel scene for me. Like, as much as I don't like Christina Hendricks in this movie, I love the oh fuck, how is he gonna get out of this aspect? And I loved just in all the different times that they cut the sound in the movie, and this being one of them, when that whole gunfight is going on and the sound's kind of cut out a little bit. I loved it. I love the way that he got out of the situation. I love the dude getting fucking stabbed in the chest with the shower curtain, and then the other dude getting blown to smithereens. Um, just great. And even backing up to the car chase, get
Yeah.
after Oscar Isaac gets shot. I thought that they did the action scenes like really well in this movie. As crazy as it like got out there, I still thought that they did it all like super super well.
It was still like grounded in reality to a certain extent, like all
Yeah.
of it. Like there was nothing that was so outlandish that couldn't actually happen in real life. Like other than that scene when he's driving and he for some reason turns the car around and goes backwards. Like what the fuck is that about? But whatever. Being distracting.
Everybody knows you go faster in reverse.
It's true.
You save mileage too.
That's right. It goes in reverse. Um anything else? Any other scenes we want to call out?
No, I just
um,
thought that, like Benny said, I thought that chase scene after the heist gone wrong was fantastic. Awesome. Shot perfect.
It's very good. All right. Is there anything that you guys can think of to make this film better?
hmm. no
Yeah.
Christina, no
Sorry.
Christina Hendricks.
Yeah,
Take the fucking money.
fair. Yeah, take the fucking money.
Go see a shrink, Irene. Get your life together.
Um, I don't know. I feel like adding anything more is gonna bloat it, and like I might not like it. Like, yeah, maybe I would like a little more with Albert Brooks, um, and like what he was up to, or maybe a little more Oscar Isaac.
Okay, so I don't have a specific way to make this better, but just thinking Albert Brooks kind of brought this up. I liked Albert Brooks in the movie, obviously, and I obviously said I had my issues with Ron Perlman, but I think to what you were saying with Ron Perlman, where Albert Brooks and him just both kind of felt like, even though they were supposed to come off as like these psychopathic, bosses,
Menacing gangsters, yeah.
they kind of both fell a little flat in that regard for me. And as much as, well, again, it's a movie, right? You meet those guys so early on in the movie, which happens in a million movies, then they end up being like the ultimate big bads of the movie. It just, when things were kind of, everybody's getting murked in the over the course of like 15 minutes in the movie, it just felt like everything was so convenient that like that was like, I get one of those issues that I had where like that's why it's not a top tier movie for me. Like it just, everything felt like so convenient in this movie. Like the pieces all lined up so perfectly. I mean, again, that's something that cuts the bloat out of the movie, keeps it tight. You're not introducing 50 million people like it's a small cast. All these people are important. So this might be just something, I'm not a filmmaker and a screenwriter, obviously. So someone who does that could probably explain that better to me. But that was just kind of the feeling that I had. I don't know how I'd fix it, but that was just the thing that kind of stuck out to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so many movies are that way because again, like it cuts out bloat. Like
Yeah.
real life doesn't happen like that, but so many movies are so convenient. Oh, they just happen to show up at the same time or whatever, like some stupid bullshit. But yeah, that's makes it nice and tight.
I think too, like I wanted to like Albert Brooks. Maybe that was a part of I was just disappointed in him.
Maybe. I mean, I kind of liked him. He stabbed that guy with a fork.
And then fucking jigged his neck with a fucking chef knife.
Yeah.
That was the badass line of the movie though, where he's like, "Hey, now you clean up after one of my fucking messes." And then he walks
Yeah.
out. I was like, all right, hey.
And I liked how he killed Bryan Cranston. Like, I mean, it was, I didn't like seeing him die, but like just the way he just and then was like, that was it, that was it, that was it.
Yep.
Just,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
relax. That was it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why, I just kind of liked it. And then he has his fucking knife collection.
Hiding the murder weapon in plain sight.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I do have a way that we could make it better if you guys want to hear about that.
I would love to.
Well, it's called Working Overtime with Matt Damon. So what we do here is cast a young, old, middle-aged, whatever, Matt Damon in a role that exists or a role we made up to, for some reason, insert Matt Damon in every film we watched. Does anyone want to go first?
Would you like to go first?
Sure. I would cast a young, not too young, but good looking, handsome Matt Damon in Oscar Isaac's part. Think
Oh,
about this. Now, Oscar Isaac, fantastic, good looking, great actor. But imagine this: you're Ryan Gosling in the apartment with Irene, and all of a sudden, someone better looking than you shows up with his dimples, his abs, and he comes in and says, "You working overtime?" Why?
Sexy.
And then they both bang each other instead.
Oh, well, you totally redeemed yourself on that one.
There you go.
uh, give me a early 20s, mid 20s, ne'er do well, handsome, uh, turning tricks out on the street, Matt Damon taking the role of Blanche. Because come on, how
Nice.
much better would those scenes have been? Uh, you see Blanche, aka our young Matt, in the back seat of the car. He would have acted the fuck out of that scene. He would have came up with maybe some better lines during the whole chase scene, other than screaming his little head off there. And I would have liked to seen, we're talking about plums all day. My plums would have got swelled up if I would have saw Gosling smacking around Matt Damon in that hotel room. So give me Matt Damon as Blanche.
Fantastic. Give me a young, fresh-faced Matt Damon. Good Will Hunting looking Matt Damon. You ever see that movie with the Wayans brothers where
Tank Man.
Marlon Wayans is the like human face on a baby? They CGI'd his face onto the baby.
I
I know what
remember.
you're talking about, but
Yeah,
I never
yeah.
saw it.
All right, well, give me a CGI'd face Matt Damon as Benicio. Uh, Imagine a young baby looking Matt Damon as Benicio. He doesn't cry when he sees that his dad just got his ass kicked by some, Russian mobsters and they gave him a bullet as a little present. He goes on a rampage with Ryan Gosling, and the two of them take out everybody. And Benicio avenges his father's death. And at the end, out of nowhere, Benicio watches Gosling kill Albert Brooks and speed off. And Benicio runs up and grabs $1 million in cash and goes home. And him and Irene go on a jaunt all over Europe and live happily ever after. So give me a Matt Damon, CGI'd face, baby face Matt Damon as Benicio. That would have, I'm not going to say that because they probably think I'm some kind of weird person, but no, my plums are going to stay the same. So give me Benicio. Matt Damon as Benicio.
He takes the money and says, "How do you like them apples?"
Oh my God, please.
Well, I got a number. The movie you're thinking of, Robbie, is called Little Man. It is
Yeah.
rated a 4.5 on IMDb with
Next week.
Sean and Marlon Wayans. Keenan Ivory Wayans directed. But listen to this fucking lineup. Besides the Wayne brothers, they got Kerry Washington, John Witherspoon, Tracy Morgan, Chaz Palminteri, Molly Shannon, David Allen Greer, and there was someone else, Alex Bornstein. Like, what a fucking lineup. I'm sorry. I think I need to watch it now.
I love David Allen Greer.
Love him.
The best.
David Allen Greer is the best. Also makes me think of John Robinson. That's his name, right? Pops.
John Witherspoon.
John Witherspoon. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I just had this very, very brief sidebar, if we will. We were watching TV before, and Vivica A. Fox came on screen.
What a fox.
The woman did not age. I mean, through the miracle of plastic surgery or whatever. 60 years old. She looks exactly the same as she did when she was gracing our screen in the late 90s.
Good
So I
for
just
her.
want to give her a shout out.
Vivica Fox had my plums blowing through my blanket. I forgot the movie with Jamie Foxx and Tommy Davidson.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, booty call.
Yes.
Booty Call. I love that movie. That movie's awesome.
Shout out Tommy
Jamie,
Davidson.
yeah, shout out Tommy.
I
I
loved
mean,
him too.
Murderers Row and Living Color, man.
Yeah, and Living Color. My goodness.
I don't know why they never made Men on Film motion picture. Just those two fucking going around town judging people in films.
Napping.
You know what that made me think of? All right. We'll talk about it after we go offline here, but I got a couple ideas for the movie next week. Maybe do a little comedy.
All right. Love it. And then we got to swing into some holiday movies, I think.
Yeah. Haven't seen Elf.
Ever?
I feel like that is, yeah, I feel
That's
like that
fucking
one
insane.
that one's happening this year.
Insane.
You haven't seen Elf? I've seen Elf maybe 300 to 400 times.
I know I heard you waxing poetic about having it on in the background this week on Going Gray. So
Do me a
maybe
favor. Don't listen to what I say. Would you please?
fair enough. Fucking give me fucking 3.5 hours of my fucking week back.
I mean, God forbid.
Who asked you this? Who asked you that? Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, this is nice. Ooh, I forgot that was nice too. Please, I got things to do.
Well, that's great, Benny.
Oh my God. Well, that's great. Benny, 6 minutes of his life. Goodness gracious. I wish I would have gave it back to him.
Please. He said now. Gee, got fantasy football talk. Please.
I got a new segment next week.
Shut the fuck
Go
up.
fuck yourself, Benny.
I'll tune into that.
Nice. Yeah, so
Joe Burrow this, Joe Burrow that. I got fucking Joe Burrow. I got Matt Stafford. I mean, goodness
I'm gonna miss the
gracious.
playoffs.
Oh my God.
Listen,
How's this fucking trade? Should I trade fucking Spencer Dick Stick for fucking for God knows
I'm
who?
back on the anti-NFL bandwagon. Go fuck yourselves. And the podcast. Fucking Brock Purdy.
I'm
Oh,
upset.
come on. It's a fun. You know, this is a difficult week in the household, a stressful week.
Anything else we want to say about this movie?
Shout
I
out
liked
Gosling.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out Gosling. I enjoyed it. I'm happy to put this one in the old tool belt. Had fun with it.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, like I said at the beginning, if there's anything we missed or anything you want to contribute to the conversation on Drive or any of the other movies we've watched or upcoming, you want to make some suggestions, please send us an email, ltbwpodcast@gmail.com. One of these days I will remember it and not have to look at it, but it's not today. We thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe, rate, all that fun stuff. We love you. Robbie, tell him good night.
Good night, driver. You give me a time and a place. I give you a 5-minute window. Anything happens in that 5 minutes, and I'm yours.
I don't hold guns.
How about this? How about I kick your teeth down your throat and then I shut it for you?